and right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Rose is on his way around. Picked up by Otis.
Here comes the ready or not. Here comes the boys from the south. Here comes the ready or not. How you like me now? I say, here comes the boom, ready or not. Here comes the boys from the south. Boom, here comes the boom, ready or not. How you like me now?
You don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati.
You are watching live to the best damn Cincinnati sports podcast this side of Yankee Stadium. 3-0 good, guys. My name's Santori Miles. We got Bengal Dad. We got nobody else. How we doing? How we doing?
Feeling kind of lonely over here.
It's just the crew that started it all.
Yes, it is.
Well, that was it for the show.
That's it. We're done.
We're done.
I'm watching the Reds.
Get our weekly check-in. Speaking of weekly check-ins,
This is not a weekly check-in. We didn't do this last week.
we're going to do it this week because we have nothing else to talk about. How the Reds been doing the last week?
The Reds are they're in the middle of a road trip. They are 3-2. That's pretty good considering they played 4 in St. Louis. You know, if they could have done anything, if they could have scored any runs in those 2 losses,
Red.
they'd be 5-0.
Right. I saw something today. It said the Cincinnati Reds in the first game of a series, and it just showed a bunch of Michael Jordan highlights, like dunking all over people. It said game 2. They were asleep. I don't get it. It is what it is.
Yeah, game 2 doesn't go real well for them. And lately, game 3 hasn't either.
But as I've always said, with a team in our financial situation, I'm just thankful they're moderately competitive. I know they're 5 games under or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they've been 5 under for like seemingly 2 months.
They're just a frustrating team because you know there's more there. They get better than average pitching. Their hitting is just so inconsistent.
Yeah, that's it. And at this point, they're only missing one guy, so it's not like you can be like, oh, they're all hurt. Well, you get 2 because Frito went back down. But 2 guys shouldn't cost you 10 wins, you know.
No.
With that being said, I've got some statistics for us to look at for this last week of baseball.
That's
Let's see if I can make this look a little neater. I don't know if I can or not.
what kind of stats do we have?
Basically,
I can't see it.
it's the offense over the last 7 days.
Well, I got to blow my screen up here because I can't see it.
I mean, it's pretty crystal clear on mine.
Well, my screen was like half size.
You got a small screen. Now, if you're watching on a phone, I apologize. There's nothing I can do for you. However,
Well, the first guy on your list with a slugging percentage of 1.2 has been
Wins.
designated for assignment.
Well, you know what? He's gone. So we'll
He hit 3 doubles in one game, and that wasn't good enough.
you know what? We're just gonna.
If Ellie hits 3 doubles,
Kapow!
he's in the Hall of Fame.
Out of here. Wins gone. Sorry about your luck. With that being said, now we're changing formulas.
What are we doing? You got
Oh
to
my
stop
God.
that.
Whoa. We're good. We're good. We're all good.
Well, India was hot as a tamale, and then he hasn't gotten a hit yet in Yankee Stadium.
All right. Stu, how's my boy Stu doing?
He just hit a home run last inning.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, he's a terrible outfielder. He makes a few really good catches at the fence, but he's got a noodle for an arm,
Listen, so did I.
and he's kind of got the 10-cent head.
I was
He
a
doesn't
great
know where to throw the ball.
I was a great outfielder. I just caught it and let it rip, and hopefully it went to the right spot.
Yeah, well, there's no rip with Fairchild.
At
And he
318,
can't come in on a ball either. Other than that, he's pretty good.
and at 318, the greatest player in the history of the Cincinnati Reds, Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, he is flashy. I mean, he just tried it. He just earlier, about 10 minutes ago, took a routine double play and turned it into a force out.
So I hate this number all the way here.
What's that number?
That's strikeouts. It's 8.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, because criticism should be fair. That's 8 strikeouts over 7 business days. That is significantly better.
It's
what
better.
we-
You just
we
got to
practice
hope.
the
You got to hope that it gets even better.
Well,
If it gets
he
even
should.
better, he will be a bona fide star. I don't think he's a bona fide star. I think he's
He's a bona fide name.
he's
sure.
a bona fide name. He's above average in some parts of his game, and he's below average in others.
All right. I'm going to introduce you to the nickname for Steer because it's in my group chat. We've tweeted it a few times. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Dump truck.
Oh, I've heard it.
Do you know why it's called dump truck?
It's got something to do with his butt, doesn't it?
Because he's got a dump truck back there. That means he's got a big old booty. And a 294, I'll take it.
I'll take it, but I think he's one of the. I know he's got like 51 or 52 RBIs, but he's one of the. I think kind of an underperformer from what we expected. I mean, every player on this team is underperforming from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Every offensive player.
And
I
you
don't
and
think
I,
there's any, other than India, but India really wasn't a starter once with McLean here.
and you and I kind of thought that might happen because we thought they were playing out of their gourd last year.
Yeah.
But moving on to this next guy who's been an enigma this entire season,
Oh yeah.
Benson. But if you look at the numbers for the week, you'd be like, it's pretty good. 4 runs scored, 6 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, a home run. But he's hitting 222. That's kind of the way he's been all year. If he hits it, it stays hit.
Yeah, he strikes out even more than Ellie.
Fraley, 167.
Fraley hasn't hit well for a while. He's going through some injuries. I don't know what's going on. When he plays,
Well,
he doesn't hit the ball hard at all.
He's got the stuff going on with his daughter, too.
Yeah, he does.
He
does.
That's got to be awful. I couldn't imagine trying to do anything with that going on.
Right. Do you know how many RBIs he has for the season?
Like 7 or something?
9.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Martini, 167. That's just kind of who he is, in my opinion. He occasionally runs into one. He occasionally does something right. For the most part, he just hits a bunch of ground balls and pop-ups. Marte, he hasn't even been up the whole week yet. So that 150 is a little meh.
Well, he had a really good first game. He's done nothing until tonight. He did hit a 2-run homer tonight.
But I'll tell you what, it's a productive 150. We'll count the homer tonight. We'll add it into the stats. You got a double, a homer, 4 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and 4 runs scored in probably 5 games.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where batting average isn't everything because you still got all these tally markers over here. Candelario has fallen off the face of the planet again.
That's baseball. Law of averages.
Yep. Espinal, I mean, he's down in 007 territory. That's not good. And then you've got 3 guys who are hitless unless they've got a hit tonight already.
I haven't seen Jordan play. Mally's been playing until this series. Stevenson just came back.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the name of his daughter is Savannah.
Savannah Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a movie star.
S-squared.
S-squared. All right, moving on to the pitchers, which there's some bright spots here with the hitting, except for Wins, who was the best hitter and got derailed to Napoleon's Island. Let's look at I've got this sorted by I don't have this sorted yet. ERA. Diaz, Farmer, Cruz, Martinez.
Yeah, I believe Diaz has, I think it's 13 consecutive saves without a blown save now.
He's starting to get better.
Yeah,
There was-
I mean,
There was
he's
a
throwing-
real rough period there.
Well, he's throwing a lot more strikes now.
Well, he went on a Cordero run for a while where every save opportunity was a heart attack. But look at the whip for Diaz over the last week. I know it's 2 innings, but that's low. And for those of you wondering why it says 2.67, it's because I couldn't get the whip to calculate right at 2.2. So we had to go with the actual third numeral to make that work. But Farmer, 2 2/3, 1 hit. Cruz, 2 innings pitched, basically 1 hit. Martinez, 3 1/3.
Martinez has been a real surprise.
0.9 whip. Now we get into some of the starters. Spears, whatever, and Montas and Green, probably combining for a 1.6 ERA over 15 innings or 20 innings, whatever the hell that is. 12 plus 4. What is that? 16.
Mm-hmm.
16 2/3. See, I can do math. With a whip under 1. That's fantastic. Abbott, that last start was that was something. With 6 walks.
Well, I don't want to jinx him, but you can add 5 more innings to that for no runs right now.
Yes, sir. He's piling it on.
So now I'd say he went down to a 1.8 ERA.
Ashcraft, all in all, is probably somewhere around a 4.5 ERA pitcher. He's had some rough spots this year. I think he's better than what he's pitched. But you know what? If that's your number 5, you've got a chance to win a game with him. It's not great, but you got a chance. Maul this past week, I guess he got tattooed in 1 inning, which really isn't fair. Makes your ERA look super.
No,
inflated.
he gave up 1 run in each of the 2 innings, I believe. He gave up a home run last night to Judge. Solo shot.
So what? That shouldn't count. That doesn't count against your stats. Then Suter, I think he's probably just getting tired. Wilson, I mean, one run. This is where you start. I feel like I'm picking on a guy. He gives up 1 run in 1 inning, and then I've got it sorted by ERA. He looks like the worst pitcher on the planet.
Right.
And Sims, who's been pitching better as of late, 1 run through 2/3 makes it look really, really bad. But overall, he's been fine. So that's your Reds week in review. What's the score right now, Padre?
Reds are up 3-0 in the top of the 6th. We have a man on and 1 out. Man on first, 1 out.
All right. So this will be probably a pretty quick show tonight. For those of you in the chat, Big Money Marshall, thank you. Kevin, as always, thank you for tuning in. I do want to talk about the cornerbacks room. We're going to start going like a position in review, a position group in review every week until we more or less get to the regular season. We'll space it out, make it work. It'll be fun. And we're trying a new background. Look at that one. That's a little that hurts a little bit, but guess what? A little white tiger in the mix. Corners. How confident are you in that room right now?
Well, let's think about who the corners are. We got Cam.
Okay.
We've got
I like Cam.
we got Turner.
I don't know if I like Turner.
We have Dax Hill now.
I'm that's a complete question mark.
We have Mike Hilton.
Getting old.
Who am I missing? I know I'm missing something.
Your boy.
Who's my boy? Oh,
Jalen
Evan?
Davis.
Or 35? Yeah, Jalen Davis.
Jalen Davis and DJ Ivy, who
Ivy.
looked halfway decent last year before, blowing a tire, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's that I think that's an up in the air position group there. Because frankly, Cam is pretty shaky too at times.
He can be,
He can be.
but
Cam's a little bit like Ellie. There's a lot of
I don't know if I go that far. I think Cam's
there's
a lot more consistent than Ellie.
I just think there's a lot of flash there, and there's a lot of he can get a little too full of himself at times.
I'll say this: he tends to make big splashy plays at important times, though. I mean, how many of those? It's with Ellie. We talk about that home run came when they're down 4. He doesn't have meaningless interceptions. They tend to be in big moments. He knows how to bait people. He's my definite number 1. He's a 2 on most teams. But again, we're only in year 3 of Cam.
Yeah, it's a position group I wish had an Awuzie.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a veteran, more of a veteran than Cam is. Give me somebody that is super, super solid, not great, but solid. I think they're going to miss that kind of like with the safeties. I think the safeties missed when Von Bell wasn't here.
Mhm.
I think it's the same thing. I think they need a cornerback that has that kind of,
Well,
maybe they go out and get a Stephon Gilmore before it's over, unless he got scooped up.
I know he's available. I would be shocked if they didn't do something like that. The name that I keep hearing floated around, which is going to upset a lot of Bengal fans, and we talked about this the other day, was Eli Apple.
Yeah, I think they need something more than that.
I think they need that level of talent, but they need a calmer attitude, in my opinion. But Eli Apple, this is where you get into damned if you do, damned if you don't with where you're at with these guys. Who knows the system? Who's ready to play? Who has time to learn? Who's the better character? It's like there's no one guy out there that doesn't have a flaw. And that's what you get at this point in the offseason. And we're looking for a guy that maybe isn't the number one starter, but can rotate with those other 2 or 3 guys to really provide some stability. Eli Apple fits in that mix, but I don't know if we want the attitude back. Stephon Gilmore fits in that mix, but he's like 100 years old. How long is he going to last? Xavier Howard definitely fits in that mix, but he's going through some off-the-field stuff right now that a lot of people probably would be upset if the Bengals brought on to their team. So, he might not even be somebody they're considering. There's a lot of damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of players. So I don't know. It might be a situation when they hit the that cut day where a third of the league loses their job and they scoop a guy up there.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something to fortify that position a little bit.
I'm good with Cam. I'm good with the depth pieces of Jalen Davis and DJ Turner. I know they drafted the kid Josh Newton, who I personally am not a fan of, but I can always be wrong. And I would rather be wrong when I say I'm not a fan of somebody. But Dax and DJ Turner are an enigma. You just don't know.
I know DJ Turner had the stats, and he was doing well early last year.
And then he got picked on. A lot of the stats were because he wasn't getting targeted. So they would be like, he's giving up like 2 yards per route run or, whatever the great numbers were. It's like, he threw 1 ball at him in 3 weeks. And it's like, well, if you're not being targeted, that's the best compliment. Well, they figured out that he can't cover when the ball's in the air. So that was part of the problem. You look into Dax Hill. He's coming over from safety. He played slot corner in college. I think he's a better athlete when he's closer to the ball. And it's more reaction time and immediate reactions as it is to sitting back and reading. And you and I know what that's like. We've always said you start making people on defense think too much, they're screwed. So I think Dax being in a little bit more of a reactive situation is going to be better for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have DJ Turner, who he does have a year of experience. It is another year in the same system. There is something to be said for that. And he was highly recruited. He's a fantastic athlete, but the ball skills aren't there. You would think that could be taught because he's got everything that can't be taught. I definitely would like a veteran, but at least the pieces that are still learning are tremendous athletes. I don't think anybody would question that.
Yeah, I'll just go back to the veteran thing. They need somebody like a Leon Hall.
Yeah.
That's what this team needs. Just somebody dependable. That's not going to be a game changer. He's not going to shut down the entire field, but he's going to be in the right spot most of the time.
I want to see who the current
unless he's deflecting a ball to Brandon Stokely.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Current available free agents. I got to sort this by corner. I'm not going to read all of them because there's a billion corners you've never heard of out there. There's just so many of them.
I just want to hear the names of solid ones.
Yeah, I'll go through that as soon as my mouse decides that it actually wants to scroll properly. I'm stuck, clicking and dragging a bar that's not moving anywhere. It moved. Corner. I'm clicking corner. Still clicking corner. Oh my god. And it stopped. We will get there when we get there.
Maybe we don't need to worry about that.
God is telling me we're good at corner. That's what this is about. All right, we're going to do this from my phone because that'll be a lot easier. For whatever reason, this is not wanting to cooperate. Grab my phone. So we need to find a Leon Hall type that's available. That's what
Yeah.
you're telling me.
That's what I'm telling you.
Is Leon Hall available?
Might be.
How's his Achilles?
I think Daryl Green might be available too.
I bet he could run faster than me. This might not be saying much, but I bet he can. Biscuit. I had the right button clicked. There we go. Unrestricted free agents currently available. Xavier Howard, like I said, but he's got some legal issues. J.C. Jackson. He had a really good run with a few teams. Adoree Jackson. Another really good athlete. He's been around. Stephon Gilmore. I think he's probably the number one name that if you had to just throw a dart and say that one. Patrick Peterson, getting a little older.
Yeah. I don't think he played all that well last year for Pittsburgh.
Steven Nelson, more of a slot corner. Kawan Williams for Denver. That wouldn't be hateful. Eli Apple. Fabian Moreau. He seems to make plays. Your favorite, Rashad Fenton.
He's clapping.
He's clapping. Logan Ryan, who's like 100 years old. Akello Witherspoon. I like him. He was with Pittsburgh for a while. Gave us some fits. Went to the Rams. Did pretty well. He's a free agent. That's about it. There's a handful that I would consider. There's maybe 2 or 3 that I would actually be very interested in.
Yeah, there's not much there to fortify it.
No, but
there'll be other casualties.
There's going to be a lot of guys that get cut over. I mean, you got to remember, the first preseason game is in like 35 days or whatever it is. It's right around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it, which means we are typically the 25th or 28th of August is when they start cutting everybody. I don't know what that cut down day is this year, but 1/3 of the league loses their job. If you want to just extrapolate that, there's roughly 190 corners in the NFL right now before all the extra guys, because you carry extras for preseason. All your extra guys, you've probably got 8 or 9 corners per team at 32 teams. I mean, you're hanging around 280.
Yeah.
280 corners. You can't tell me that the 70 to 100 that are going to get cut, there's not one that can provide solid ball.
Who was the player they brought in years ago when we had Zimmer from the Cowboys? Was it Newsom?
Yeah.
Something like that? He was a corner, right?
Newman.
No, he was a corner, right?
Yeah, he could fly. He was 37 years old, but he could still play.
That's what
Terrence
I'm talking
Newman.
about. A player like that is what I'm talking about.
Just give me someone who's got 1 year left in the tank. They don't need to start every game. Maybe half of them, maybe rotate, whatever. But they need a veteran at that position. They need, you know what? Every Bengal fan is always going to reference this kind of guy. They need their Wallace Gilberry at that position.
Yes.
They need their Ogunjobi. Just that solid rotational veteran piece. They need that guy. They don't have that guy. If they would get that guy, I would feel really good about the cornerback.
We need our Pirine.
We need our Pirine. We need our Tyler Boyd. We need just that guy that stabilizes the core of that group. Right now, there's a lot of youth, which is great, but it's such a volatile and such an important position that it's not worth the risk. Cheeto would have been a great piece to keep, but I don't know how healthy he is.
Right.
I guess the Titans felt he was healthy because they gave him a 3-year deal worth like $40 million. But they, with that being said, would you draft a corner next year?
Would I draft a corner?
Knowing what you have right now, would you draft a corner?
I'd probably draft one, and I'd get a veteran in free agency.
Double down.
I'd get somebody though that's not on the rise. It's somebody that's at just coming down from their top, so you can pick them up a little less expensively, but they've got a lot of experience, and knowing it's their last hurrah, they'll have a lot to play for.
Is Joe Hayden available?
I don't like Joe Hayden.
I liked Joe Hayden. He gave AJ Green fits. But with that being said, we've touched on the Reds. It is the offseason. These are shorter shows. I know it's only 26 minutes as opposed to the normal hour when we have a Greg Luther or a Cincy James or a Dale. But this is the way God intended. Just us screaming at each other. It got us this far.
Well, I'm not screaming.
Well, I'm screaming.
There's no screaming.
Listen, I wore suspenders today, so my shoulders are screaming because they were holding up my pants the whole day. Do you know how heavy my pants are?
Yeah, that's they were pulling double duty.
That's a lot of weight. But I do want to always thank our sponsors. I think it's important to always get their names out there. I don't necessarily have reads for them all today, but y'all know who they are. Script Coffee, one of the best tasting coffees in the city, and I don't say that just out of love for Steve Huff and just because there's a sponsorship. I liked the coffee before it was a sponsor. They legitimately a really good coffee, and they have a brick and mortar with a drive-through in Lebanon, Ohio. I'm not going to say exactly what our sponsorship contract details are, but I will tell you that my wife spends more money there than Steve gives us on a monthly basis. So I guess it's working out for him because he's getting it all back. So if you haven't tried Script Coffee yet, you can order it online. You can go to Brick and Mortars. I know he's got it in a couple other stores around Cincinnati. 10 out of 10 recommend it. It's really good. Midwest Best Barbecue. If you haven't been there yet, I don't know what you're doing because I think we pump that harder than any of them.
I can attest to that one. That's some good stuff there.
Yeah, you're
really good.
You're kind of picky.
I am very picky, but that's really good stuff.
Well, they do a great job. It's not it feels like it's small batch barbecue. I don't know if it is. They might hate me for saying that, but what I mean by that is when you have smaller batches of things, it's easier to control the quality. Every single time I've eaten there, I've probably gotten the same thing. It's tasted the same every single time. There's a great smokiness to it. I know they smoke and fry the wings, which is something my dad loves. They've got great sauces. They love the Bengals. They're family owned. They've been in Milford forever. If you haven't checked them out, they're right off the Ward's Corner exit, Midwest Best Barbecue. Got to get that in there for Greg. Fantastic. And plus the family's so nice. I mean, what they let us do for Project Game Day, having the draft party there was 10 out of 10. And then last but not least, Brimminghorn Meadery, the real OG, the sponsor that's been with us since day one.
Yes.
Do you like honey? Do you like wine? Do you like meat? I think it's beer. Imagine this. It's 400 degrees outside in Cincinnati because Satan sat his ass crack right on the Ohio River. It's sweltering. You wear a white T-shirt, and you look like you just entered a wet T-shirt contest. It's awful. Bengal Dad can't even go outside or he'd melt and stick to the concrete. You need to cool off? Brimminghorn Meadery. Get whatever code you need. Houday 9, I think, is what we use. 15% off 2 bottles or more. Basically covers shipping, even to Montana. It might not even be hot in Montana. That might be cool and temperate. But use our code Who99, 15% off. Gets you basically the cost of shipping. It's a fantastic product. I don't drink much. Dad doesn't like when I do drink, but I'll say this. It's basically juicy juice for adults. It's some good stuff. Get you some.
That was good.
Anything else, Dad?
I got nothing else. I mean,
That's all off the
it's
cuff.
the off season. I keep glancing up at the Reds, hoping something happens, but it's still 3-0, top of the 7th. Espinal is up.
We're going to sweep the freaking
He's
Yankees.
going to slap the ball to the right side if he hits it. I can almost guarantee it.
We're going to sweep the Yankees.
Yeah, we've done it before.
Also, I'm not saying that I need to make the Christmas ham this year, but I smoked a bone-in ham last night for my friends. Every Tuesday night, we have something called family night. We've got a handful of friends that come over, and I typically go all out and make a pretty big meal. We wonder where all my money goes. That's probably a portion of it. But it's worth it. It's a good time with my friends. It's once a week. We always stay in touch. But I decided, Ash told me we weren't going to do it because she didn't want to clean and she had to work all day. And I said, I don't care. We're doing it anyway. So I stayed all day cleaning, which is why I didn't answer your phone too much yesterday. Got this place freaking spotless. Smoked a Christmas ham, brown sugar glaze with a barbecue drizzle on top when it was done.
He said drizzle.
Drizzle.
Fazzizzle.
Smoked baked beans with bacon in them. Ooey gooey mac and cheese, crescent dinner rolls, chocolate chip cookies, cake, brownies, whole 9 yards. Crushed it. If you are not taking one of those spiral sliced, mine wasn't even spiral cut. I didn't really know what to do with it once I was done cooking it. I was like, I'm supposed to just rip one of these little slivers off the side. So I'm sitting there with a carving knife, just like, oh, here's your brick of ham. It's a little unique. But if you are not smoking your ham, it only takes an hour and a half. It's the same thing as throwing it in the oven. It's a lower temperature. Get the smoke in there. Get your glaze in there, your brown sugar. I'm telling you, 100% worth it to smoke your ham.
I believe you.
Oh, I got a tray of ham left over. I just don't live 5 minutes down the road anymore.
No, you don't.
I gotta just put one on a firework and shoot it off to Batavia tomorrow. Go get it.
Go deep.
Ooh,
What else we got?
that's it, man. That's a 30-minute show. Good little show for the off season.
Wait, you want to talk about the stock market?
No,
No.
we talked about my investments earlier today that I didn't even know were doing anything, and apparently they were.
Going very well.
Yeah, so good for me. I
The
guess.
stock market is the only thing going right in the Biden era.
Well, you know what? It made me feel good because when I saw the amount that was, I guess, percolating for me, it was more than any personal loans and credit card debt that I had combined. And I went, oh. And those are all doing this, and this is all doing this. So at some point, I mean, I guess I'm in the green, right? Because I don't count student debt, so I'm in the
Well,
green.
it's actually called the black.
Whatever. 52 black. Roulette. I don't know. Why is it's called the black?
Yeah, you're in the red or you're in the black.
Where's the green?
The green's only if you got a color monitor, I guess. I don't know. It's
I
called
do.
the black.
Who made that mistake?
Money is green.
Yeah.
But
We're positive.
Well, the black is when you are making money.
Well, call me black. We'll clip that without any context. Just throw that out there. Did you watch the video of me trying to eat that chicken sandwich?
Yes.
That
Kim and I were noticing how glazed over your eyes looked.
Oh,
within
it was
seconds.
instant tears. I thought, like, physically, I was holding it together well, except my eyes. Oh my god! So for those of you that don't know, if you go down to Midwest Best, or not Midwest Best, sorry, 50 West. There's a lot of West here. 50 West Brewery and burgers, whatever it's called. First off, if you've never been, awesome place to hang out. They've got tennis courts in the back. They've got tents up, so even though it's 100 degrees outside, it stays.
Are they tennis courts or pickleball courts?
They've got pickleball and I meant volleyball. They got
Like I say, not many places have tennis anymore.
they got tennis and volleyball.
Pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball and volleyball. It's dog friendly. They've got like AstroTurf laid down, so if you spill your drink, it doesn't matter. The benches are like bolted to the ground. They've got
If they got AstroTurf and you drop your drink, you can bounce right up and catch it.
yeah, just whoop, go back up and get it. The burgers are really good. They're just not very big. It's somewhere between a McDonald's burger and a White Castle slider, and you're going to pay $10-$12 for it. It's a little fella, but they're really, really good. And, they got beer and drinks, and it's a very, very much a social atmosphere. But I got there, and Dad knows this. I'm love spicy food. Always have. Used to get mad at me in high school for it. For whatever reason. I never understood why, but she did. And I will easily say that I definitely wasted money on this. It was $14.99 for that chicken sandwich. And it wasn't a huge chicken sandwich. It's just more for the challenge, the guts, and the glory than anything. Remember when I did the one chip challenge? How brutal that was?
Yes.
Okay. That was 1 million Scoville units. This chicken sandwich was 1.8. Basically twice the strength. And I thought,
oh my God, that's going to kill you.
I was like, yeah, let's try it. Well, I go up to the counter. They've got signs for it everywhere. They're advertising at $14.99. And they go, what would you like to eat? And I said, hey, give me a Utah burger, which is a burger with pickles and pastrami on it. It's one of my favorite things there. And I said, they also have great milkshakes. So if you just want a burger and a shake, it might cost you $15, but it'll be good. And I said, give me one of those atomic chicken sandwiches. And they've got signs up everywhere. They've got the little hazard warning triangles all over it. They're really up in the ante. And when man, I was like, I hear some things are 1 million Scoville units. I've got stuff at home that says it's 700,000, and it doesn't bother me. Some things are just, it may be the right unit, but some things are just more sensitive naturally than others. Found out what mine was. It's whatever fucking pepper they put in that Scoville unit. But the guy looks at me and he goes, you understand how hot that is? The counter? I said, yeah. I said, I'm not a competitive eater. I said, but I do spicy challenges a lot. So I get it. And he goes, okay. And they wouldn't let me sign my receipt or put my card in until I'd have to sign a waiver, but I had to physically acknowledge to these people that I understood how hot this was. And then they gave me 2 bags of food. One had my burger, right? And then the other was a bag that was like twice the size. It was super light. I was like, what the hell's going on? So I sit down, my burger's in one with the receipt stapled to it. And I was like, all right, had my good burger first because I knew I wasn't going to be able to eat anything after I eat that spicy sumbitch. And then I go to open the second bag, which again is taped shut with one of those hazard stickers on it. And it's got 2 clamshells in it. And I'm like, was one like the bun? Like, what did they? And I opened the other clamshell, and it's like doctor's gloves, like the blue gloves that come with it. And Pork Chop looked at it, and he said, well, shit, it's got gloves. I don't want any part of it. And I was like, nah, I said they do that for flair a lot. And then I picked up the styrofoam clamshell for the other chicken sandwich, and my hand started to burn just touching the styrofoam. No sauce, just on the other sandwich. I got half a whiff of it and went, this is going to be a problem. set it down, put the gloves on, open it up. I'm looking at it. I smell it. I'm like readjusting the pickles to like make sure I just don't get destroyed with whatever hot sauce this is. Take one bite, and you saw the video. My eyes instantly were just draining. Yeah, like I'm. The weird thing I do when I get overstimulated with heat is I bite my tongue. It's almost like if you get a cut somewhere, you have to like hurt something else to take the pain away from that cut that you've got. I'm like biting on my tongue, and it's like salivating, and then I'm like starting to drool. Pork chop, John and Greg are there looking at me just laughing. They're like, is it hot? What do you think? Is it hot? I'm dying over here. And I'm like, pork chop, I need another lemonade. He's like, you got it. Pork chop doesn't take my cup. He goes inside, waits in line, but not. I'm there going, take the damn cup with you. Greg's like, do you want a milkshake? I'm like, I can't order a milkshake right now. Like my tongue's going numb. At the very end, pork chop goes, pay you $5 for another bite. I said, I would need at least 100 for another bite right now. I said, you can pay for the whole damn sandwich. I'm not taking another bite of that. So if you like spicy food challenges and you want to go, I mean, it was easily worse than the one chip. There's more substance to it, so it doesn't feel as difficult. But if you're just taking the heat at surface level for what it is, yeah, that was that was in the top 3 hottest things I've ever had in my life for sure. It's top 2. It's a tie between that and then I don't remember if it was the atomic or the triple atomic challenge. I tried a Quaker steak. But when I was 15, I tried the triple atomic or atomic, whichever one it was. I was in West Virginia with my family. And I was like, I'm 15. I'm a hot shot. I'm going to show off because I eat spicy food. I'm not going to lie. I got like 2 of those wings down. Felt pretty good about it. And my cousin Lauren looked at me and she goes, those chicken wings hot? And I was like, yeah, why? She said, look down. My bottom lip had went numb and I was just drooling all over myself. I didn't even experience pain. My body just shut down. So it was up there with those. It was definitely top 2 hottest things I've ever had.
Not me.
Oh, you wouldn't have made it. You'd have been on the ground. You'd have been trying to suck out somebody's drink from the AstroTurf. You'd have been done. Oh my God. But I think that about wraps it up. We've hit 43 minutes. Again, I always appreciate everybody that tunes in. Oh, Project Game Day updates. Always gonna, give out one of those. Everybody, and this is to a fault of my own, I'm sure. Asks me if I ever see somebody out in public that I don't normally get to see. The first question I always get asked is, "Where's the Bengal bus? When are we getting an ambulance?" It is coming. I promise it is coming. I have been given the thumbs up from my wife, which is not the hardest thing to do. But I have been given the thumbs up from my dad, which is one of the hardest things to get for a multi-$1,000 decision. It is coming next spring. It will not be ready for this season. It will probably be ready for next season. I've definitely put a ton of feelers out on eBay and Facebook Marketplace or websites that sell like halfway done schoolies where people have kind of given up on them. I've got some requirements I have to hit in terms of size. I've got a budget that I want to stay within, which I don't think is going to be a problem. But it should be ready for the 25 season. So there's your Project Game Day vehicle update. I will say it's going to be a really, really, really fun vehicle when it's done. You will be able to sit in it, hang out. I think we're probably going to have air conditioning in it and a TV, So if you want to play Madden while you're at Lot 1 hanging out with us, you should have that ability. Regarding our current tailgate, we should have 2 canopies this year. I have a second one I'm getting ready to purchase, and I'm trying to make it to where it's insulated so that during the really hot games, I've got a portable air conditioning unit that will cool it down. And during the cold games, we've got a couple options, but I'm trying to go with a BTU heater as opposed to somebody else's idea of stick a fire pit under a cloth canopy. I don't like that one too much. But we're also probably getting ready to purchase a hot dog roller for those of you that aren't necessarily into condados, which is fine. There's going to be hot dogs, sausages, brats, mets, whatever. Pork Chop likes the idea of putting the tornado things on there. I don't know if you know what those are, Dad. They're like crispy tortillas with cheese in them. They're like taquitos kind of thing. We'll have that. We'll have our normal catering. Should have 2 canopies. And as far as I've been told, 50 West is still supplying all the beer. So free beer, free tacos, free hot dogs. It's getting easier to do it. Thank you to everybody that's supported. Whoa! What's going on over there?
Over where?
I hear a bunch of clattering.
That was Kim just walking across the floor.
Oh my God! It sounded like an elephant exploded. I heard like a. Okay. But thank you to everybody that's been able to help us and the guys over at Bengals and Brews and Matt Schultz and Kieran and everybody that's been able to help Project Game Day grow. It's going to be a fun season, and I really cannot wait till we get this vehicle. And I know that's something that is very much on my mind every single day. And I'm going to blame Dad because Dad he's not been as gung-ho about it as I have, but he's mentioned it since I was a kid, the idea that it would be cool to have a Bengal bus or a Bengal van. Maybe sparingly, but it's always kind of been a thing. And the fact that I know that I'm seriously going to be in purchase mode around March or April makes it really, really fun over the next 5 or 6 months once I start putting the ideas together.
Hey, just an update from Yankee Stadium, and it's not a good update.
Uh-oh.
It is 3-2 Reds. The Yankees have first and third, 1 out, and Judge up.
Well, so it's 5-3 is what you're saying.
Well, Cruz has come on and given up a walk, a double, and a walk. Not good. And now he's got Judge, and we also have Wilson and Sims warming up in the bullpen.
Yay.
So, needless to say, this is a very big batter in this game right here.
So if I was going to go take my after-work shower.
Double play ball. Third, second, first, double play.
Never mind. I was going to say if I was going to go take my after-work shower and go to B-dubs, now would be the time.
Cruz is coming off the mound, punching himself in the chest. I think he's going to give himself a heart attack. That was a tailor-made double play. I mean, Judge was out by 15 feet at first.
Mark that under things that we didn't anticipate would happen.
Yeah. It's Tombstone time.
Tombstone. We haven't said that on here too often, but
yeah, it's Tombstone.
That was probably like an episode 2 thing, and we're like well past 100 at this point. We're closing out like 150 episodes of this show. But Tombstone, for those of you that don't know, it just means we need the Reds to score a couple more runs. But the phrase is, my dad used to always look at me, and he still does. He basically just did it there. He would say, we could use a couple more runs just as insurance. And it got to the point that he was saying it every night, probably about 5 years ago. And he said, I just put it on my tombstone. We could use a couple more runs.
It's always true. You never have enough.
I don't know if Kim's going to allow me to do that.
To put it on my tombstone.
We could use a couple
more runs. I think it needs to be on the tombstone. It could be on the side of the casket too.
Just write it Sharpie. We could use a few more runs. What?
She doesn't want to talk about it. It gets her too excited. I'm number one now.
Nah, I was asked this question. Where do we park the Bengal bus the other 355 days a year?
I don't know. I still don't know if I'm going to get an extension on my barn. I have no idea where it's going to go.
Someone said, I think it was Pork Chop. He goes, you know where you should park it? I said, where? He said it would look real good next to that black barn your dad's got. He said, just shimmy it right by the side. One last thing, we'll jump off here. Very serious note. For those of you that know Pork Chop and hang out with us at our tailgates, you also know his friend and coworker John. John, say a prayer for him this week. Everything should be okay, but he's getting triple bypass heart surgery this week. John is a young 73 years old, very spry young buck, but, you know, anything can happen. So just say a prayer. And I know our plans are to go visit him, I think, Tuesday. I think his surgery is Friday. So in 2 days. But just keep that one in your prayers. And also, a Strawberry Ice had to put his dog down today. That one's tough. It always is. So if you're wanting to reach out or say a prayer for Jeff, that would be one too. He had to put down his long best friend today. That's never easy. I mean, God, how many times have we had to do that?
Yeah, it's been too many.
But on a happy note, the Reds still have the lead, and I'm getting chicken wings. Anybody have anything else they'd like to say?
No, I'm good.
All right.
We're 8 weeks away. 9 weeks away. I'm sorry, 9 weeks away.
8 weeks away.
I think we're 60 days away.
60 for football?
I'm being bellowed for.
There's all kinds of stuff going on.
So I'm out. I got to go.
With that being said, I can't get this mouse to work right. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. And filler.
And right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Throws is on his